Welcome to the VIOLATES. Thank you all so much for joining me. Two-part live, everybody. Pontiac mom, uh, who abandoned three of her children in a condo, inside of a condo in squalor, fecal matter. She has violated a court order. She was not supposed to contact the children or the caregiver, which she has done. She has spoken to the caregiver, which is her father. We're going to talk about that second. But first, we're going to talk about Mr. Sean Puffy Combs. Welcome to the VIOLATES. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. Oh, Lordy, what's up? What a mess. First part of my update pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs is pertaining to his ex-bodyguard. He has decided to speak again. He's been giving commentary since Sean has been indicted and in federal holding in New York. Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Sean Diddy Combs, has stirred controversy with a series of shocking claims regarding the mogul's private life during a recent interview with The Art of Dialogue. Deal alleges that Diddy maintained a romantic relationship with Kirk Burroughs, who served as the president of Bad Boy Records, the label founded by Diddy. During the interview, Deal stated he was working as Diddy's bodyguard at the time and would often accompany the music mogul to Burroughs' apartment for what he claimed were money drops. According to Deal, Diddy frequently stayed overnight at Burroughs' residence, which he found confusing at the time. Wait a minute, they was lovers? Deal stated, also mentioning that other people in the Bad Boy Records building had seen Diddy and Burroughs in compromising positions as well. The allegations come at a tumultuous time for Diddy, who was facing significant legal challenges. In February 2025, Burroughs sued Diddy, alleging that he suffered repeated sexual harassment, physical aggression, and forced compliance with degrading sexual acts. Wow. The lawsuit paints a troubling picture, alleging that Combs used physical violence, blackmail, career sabotage, and financial extortion to coerce Burroughs into relinquishing his 25% stake in Bad Boy Entertainment. This latest lawsuit is not Burroughs' first legal entanglement with Diddy. He complained in 2003 about an incident that reportedly happened in 1996, but the court dismissed that case. Now, what was that about? Curious. The current legal action is part of a growing list of claims against Diddy, with at least 50 similar allegations since November 2023, filed since 2023 of November. Diddy's team responded to Burroughs' allegations, labeling them frivolous and a misuse of valuable court time. They argued that the accusations have been tossed out of different courthouses for 3 decades, indicating what they think is a history of frivolous claims against a hip-hop icon. So what is the truth? This is bad either way, okay? You got Mr. Deal, Gene Deal. Excuse me, when I mistakenly said that the Maui police chief, who's been brought into these allegations as well, he was the one that was broke and living with his mom at the time. I just confused him with the other guy, Drewski, who's also been brought into the lawsuit. He was the one who said he was broke living with his mom at the time, when this girl claims that there was a gang rape between Diddy, this Mr. Odell, a football player, and Drewski. So I want to make sure I clear that up. It wasn't the Maui police. He allegedly was working at the time as security detail. Don't know if that's true or not. He claims he wasn't even around. So everybody's claiming they weren't around. So Gene Deal, former bodyguard for Sean Puffy Combs, basically said he dropped Diddy off on occasions for alleged money drops to Mr. Burroughs' apartment, okay? He also says Puffy stayed overnight, which he thought was confusing at the time. Now we have information of this Mr. Burroughs suing Diddy for whatever reason all the way back to 2003. Now we have a recent lawsuit where he's claiming sexual harassment, physical aggression, forced compliance with degrading sexual acts. This is just crazy to me. So we now have 2 people. Deal's talking about this Kirk guy that he thought something was going on between he and Puffy, okay? He worked with Puffy at the label. And now we have Mr. Kirk filing a suit against him, basically saying the same thing, but forced aggression, forced, sexual acts or compliance to sexual acts. This is crazy to me. What I have to say to Mr. Deal, why would you continue to work for Sean if you put two and two together that he was a gay bisexual man? Because a lot of guys who are street guys, I don't know if you represent yourself as what is quote a street guy, quote unquote, but why would you continue to work for him once you realize he was gay? I'm just curious. You just did it for the money? Because we're learning a lot of people with all these allegations against certain famous people such as R. Kelly, now Sean Puffy Combs. Everybody went along for the ride for the money. Wendy Williams saw the same. I just did what I did because they wanted me to do this, run them around, drop them off here, blah, blah, blah. I was the gopher chauffeur. But there comes a point when you have to say to yourself, is it worth the money? Do you really want to be tangled up with people? Even though somebody might say, well, it's none of your business that he liked men or was having sex with a guy or whomever. You're just getting paid to ride him around. I mean, everybody's entitled to his or her opinion. But I'm just thinking of a street guy. Once a street guy learns, oh, I'm chauffeuring around this homosexual man, hell no, I don't even want to be linked to him. Now he says other people in the company knew about Puffy and this Mr. Kurt Burrows. I don't know. I don't really know what the hell's going on. All I know is this. Hello, Gigi. I'm tired of hearing about Sean Puffy Combs. I'm tired of hearing about these lawsuits. I'm tired, period. I'm ready to get this trial onward. And also the latest information is that his lawyers are saying that CNN altered that hotel tape where he is beating Cassie in the hallway. And we're going to go to GMA3 to hear the latest. Welcome to the VIOLATES, everybody. This is a two-part live. Oh, Lord, what a mess.
Video allegedly showing Sean Diddy Combs beating his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
Diddy's lawyers are arguing to exclude the footage from the rapper's upcoming sex trafficking trial. Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer joins us now with more on what this could mean for the high-profile case. So good to have you. Okay, so they want this video left out. What's their argument for this?
So, Mark Agnifilo, Sean Combs' attorney, is arguing that, and you probably hear this phrase, this is not a true and accurate representation of what the video depicts. He's saying a number of arguments that the CNN had taken this video and sped it up. They kind of chopped it up into this montage, and it's not accurate. He's also making the allegation that the original video no longer exists. And so because this isn't accurate, the jury shouldn't see it. And according to Diddy's attorneys, because the original doesn't exist or it's been tampered with, no video such as this should be presented to the jury.
So what does CNN say about these claims?
So CNN has come out and said, we did not alter it. We did not change anything. And in fact, they're saying that they do have the original as well. So on multiple levels, Sean Combs' argument kind of falls flat because if it is sped up, and I think there is some degree of it's being sped up, if the original still exists, that can still be used as evidence against Sean Combs, not necessarily to the allegations of sex trafficking, RICO conspiracy, or the transportation purpose of prostitution, but to show that this is a force that it was used to keep victim number one, who we believe to be Cassie in this video, under his control for the purpose of trafficking and this RICO conspiracy.
Let's elaborate on that, because you just said, these charges aren't related specifically to this video, but prosecutors are really fighting to be able to show this. Explain to us more why.
So oftentimes when you think about criminal charges, you think about someone punches someone, there's an assault charge there, and then you have a video like this and you try to prove it. But with that racketeering conspiracy, it's saying that there's a criminal enterprise and it used different criminal actions and non-criminal actions to further these freak-offs, to further control women, namely Cassie and others as well. And so when the prosecution or the government shows this video, they're saying, here's an example of one of those underlying crimes that feeds into the racketeering conspiracy. This is how he controlled. This is how he used force to perpetuate that sex trafficking. And this is how he made sure they didn't go forward, for example, and report him.
And these lawsuits just keep piling up. It seems like every single week we're talking about a new lawsuit filed against Diddy. So talk about this, the latest lawsuit here, the indictments and the latest accusations from former employees.
So first and foremost, these are allegations, and Sean Combs and his team has denied all of them, whether it be in the video or in these allegations. But we have what's called two superseding indictments. What it means is the government or the prosecutor has gone forward and collected more information to show to a grand jury to secure an indictment. And within both of those superseding indictments, we have two slightly different facts, same charges. What I mean by slightly different facts is with the original indictment, it went as far back as 2008. Now we're going back as far as 2004. So an extra 4 years of alleged actions that can now come into the case. We're also adding allegations of forced labor and assault and harassment to some of his employees. Allegations of the people within his sphere, within this criminal enterprise, being abused, harmed, forced to do certain actions they didn't want to again, fuel that criminal enterprise that funneled those freak offs into his parties.
This trial is very close. It's very soon to happen. What are both sides doing in these final days for preparation?
So we know on Friday that the court date for the trial got moved back from May 5th to May 12th, just 1 week. They're going to be getting opening statements. But we also know that on April 15th, the witness list, which includes the alleged victims, will be released. And from there, we're going to see both sides feverishly working to do what's called motions in limine, trying to get the judge to agree what should come in and what should not come in, what comments can be made and what comments cannot be made of the defendant or the witnesses, and how basically the courtroom will operate as this case progresses through trial. We'll see them trying to suppress or keep out certain evidence out of the case, or try to bolster it, try to get it in before there are arguments in court in front of the jury.
And we do want to remind our viewers that Diddy has pled not guilty.
Absolutely.
All right.
Brian, always so good to have you. And
Okay.
before we go, we have a special announcement. The launch of the new ABC News podcast, Bad Rap, the case against Diddy, hosted by our very own Brian Buckmeyer. You can catch the first episode Tuesday, March 25th.
Okay, so a new podcast pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. So, right here is a caption of the video from last spring. We got a whiff of this beating of a young lady by Cassie Ventura, who dated him on and off for about 7 to 8 years. And now the attorneys for Sean are saying it's altered. CNN denies altering it. And the main thing is, it doesn't lie. Speed it up, slow it down. He beat the girl up. So what are you gonna try to tell us that what? She had a weapon. Well, it shows her going to the elevator. She's trying to get away. You can see her hurrying down the hall. So what part of the video is altered? Help us understand. It's just ridiculous. And in the end, like they said, whoever the source is that had the tape, they gave it to CNN. So whatever fashion they gave it, it is what it is. My understanding is that whoever had it originally and gave it to CNN, it was in its entire content that they gathered it and then handed it to CNN. I don't really care, quite frankly, because I'm tired of hearing about Sean Puffy Combs. You beat the girl up. You later apologized. So you didn't tell the world at that time last year, oh, it was altered. Now all of a sudden, almost a year later, it's altered. Don't you find that interesting? You apologize for your behavior, or you say, I did a terrible thing, blah, 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 but you didn't apologize to Cassie directly. But you own that you put your hands on the girl in your little confession, whatever. Okay, nowhere in that confession that what you did was wrong, you were under the influence or whatever, did you say, oh, by the way, the video's altered. Let me explain to you what happened. I know what I did was wrong, but she came at me, blah, blah, blah. None of that was said. So why now, almost a year later, your lawyer wants to come up with this BS that it's altered and it shouldn't be admitted into court? Well, it shows that something was going on for her to want to get out of that room and get to the elevator, whatever that reason was. And perhaps that's why she gave the tape to CNN, or somebody gave it to CNN to say, hey, that was a day when some hanky-panky business was going on and she didn't want no parts of it. Because that's what I want to know. Was that incident, this incident here, was it an incident where there was some hanky-panky going on in the room and she left because she wanted to get the hell out of there? Other parties were there. Maybe he wanted to do some other stuff she didn't want to do. I don't know, because we haven't heard from Cassie Ventura for her to say why she was trying to hurry out of that hotel room. But in the end, she's an adult. If she's ready to go, she's ready to go. You don't have no business putting your hands on her, Mr. Puffy Combs. Whatever was going on in the room, whatever reason she was wanting to leave. I saw enough of the tape. I don't really have to know what was going on in the hotel room. Once she left the room, she was leaving. So you didn't have any business chasing her, putting your hands on her. And then you own that you did that. And nowhere did you ever say, hey, by the way, you didn't see all of it. It's only here recently we've heard that. Oh, it's not what you all think. wasn't a freak off. I think that's what the lawyer said a few months ago. Oh, it wasn't a freak off why she was leaving the room. Well, attorney, you don't know why she was leaving the room. You saw the tape like everybody else saw the tape. And whatever reason your client gave you for why she left out and why he kicked her, beat her, whatever, it ain't going to be the truth because it don't matter. It don't matter if she was in the room raising hell, She was leaving, let her go. But he didn't want her to go. So to argue about it is pointless to me. You just don't want it because it shows he's not a great person. That's my opinion. So the latest right now, he went to court recently, a few days ago. They said he looked gray, beard gray, head gray. He ain't looking too good. New allegations, new superseding indictments too. Now it's got something to do with employees crying that he mistreated them, forced labor, blah, blah, blah. It just goes on and on. You can't even keep up because every week is something new. Every week is something new. I can't even keep up. I don't even like talking about him now because it's just every week is something new pertaining to Sean. So now we got this superseding indictment times 2. New allegations levied against him. He has pled not guilty a couple of days ago in court where he was looking frail and gray, looking like a grandpa. And then we have Mr. Deal, ex-security guy, bodyguard, whomever, who says he believes that Sean was having an affair with Mr. Kurt Burris, who was working with Sean many years ago at Bad Boy Entertainment, blah, 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 Bad Boy label, whatever. I'm tired of hearing about this joker. Sean's just nasty. That's what I think. I think he's just a nasty beast. And I don't care who comes forward to say, I didn't see this, I didn't witness this, I ain't never seen, homosexual activity, I haven't seen any drugging, I haven't seen any filming. When I went to the party, I didn't notice this. Everybody's got a different version of what they noticed and experienced at these all-white parties, whatever you want to call them. Because that's life. Everybody has his or her perception. The point is, I think he was a nasty guy. I think he's still a nasty guy. I think he does not have respect for women or men or children. I think he has thrown his weight around in life because of his accolades and having money, wealth, being famous. And he's done what a lot of people have done. He just used his title. That's all. And you have people who are regular people. They're dirt poor. They're manipulators, con artists, rapists, sadists. They're the same. Because it all depends on us, how we deal with these people, how we put these people on pedestals. Because you've heard stories of regular people being treated the same. They get into trouble, they get a lawyer, they bond out, people rally behind them, support them, claim, oh, he's not like that, she's not like that, you don't know them. But what people need to understand is that people are different with different people. Sean probably could be the nicest person, but he also could be a rotten-ass dog. And I think we've seen that. So on one hand, he might be donating money to Howard University. He might be pretending to take your kid under his wing to show them the ropes of the business. And then when the doors are closed, he's fondling your little boy. He's fondling your girl, okay? That's that. Next subject matter, Pontiac, Michigan. Oh, this dirty mess here. I am so sick of hearing about this crazy bat.
Wrangling your own crypto taxes.
Sorry about that. I'm so sick of hearing about this heathen. I thought we were going to get a break from hearing about her when she went to court. But we've got new information pertaining to Miss Kelly Marie. She has not complied to the court orders implemented by a judge. And we're going to now go to News 4 and hear the latest pertaining to her. This is my second update, everybody. Wow, what a mess.
County prosecutor says the mother, who is accused of abandoning her 3 children for years, is directly violating court orders. They say Kelly Bryant should have her communication privileges revoked because she's called her children's caregiver multiple times, and that's something the judge said she could not do as she sits in the Oakland County lockup. Let's get out to Shantae Passmore. She's working the story, joins us live this evening. Shantae, the judge was pretty clear about this.
Yeah, he was. And so recently the prosecution filed this motion to ban all forms of communication. So who is the caregiver? Well, according to the defense, that would be Kelly Bryant's own father. And now they're challenging this restriction.
8 times. Oakland County prosecutors say that's how many times Kelly Bryant called the caregiver for 3 children between February 21st and March 7th. Between March 8th and the 12th, reportedly 10 times. The children are at the center of a child abuse case. The Pontiac mother is accused of leaving them to live alone for years. The home's condition described by authorities as deplorable. As part of her bond reduction, she was told to not have contact with the children and caregiver. Now, prosecutors are asking for a judge to revoke her communication privileges.
AKW.
Criminal defense attorney Lillian Diallo is not connected to the case, but says the people's motion is too severe.
And as a defense attorney, I would argue strenuously and vigorously for her being able to have contact, maybe not with the father now. You can cut that off if that's what you feel has been violated, but don't cut off her only means of communicating with the outside world.
In a response, Bryant's lawyer claims neither the mother nor her defense team had been served a written copy of the court's bond order. The defense claims the mom misunderstood the court statements on the record and didn't realize there was a blanket prohibition from speaking to her father. Meanwhile, questions mount surrounding the case.
Somebody needs to say something about how these kids just were languishing for years, right? No birthday, no Christmas, no Easter. Nobody asked where the kids are.
And we did get a hold of the defense team, but we were told they had no comment. They do believe that there should be no contact with the children, but as for the overall restriction with communication overall, that's something they are challenging. Meanwhile, Bryant is expected to appear in court later this month. We're reporting live tonight. Shante Passmore, local.
All right, everybody. Let's get a good look at this crazy heathen here. Accused of abandoning her children. She's made multiple calls to the caregiver, which is her father, and it violates the court order. When she attended court, it was said to her in front of the state and her attorney and herself what was expected of her. She got a bond reduction from $250 million to $50,000 cash. They told her what was expected of her if indeed she was able to bond out on the $50,000 cash only, to not have any contact with her children or the caregiver, don't contact nobody. And she's violated that. Let's read this information. News 7 Detroit is the source. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald has filed a motion seeking to revoke communications privileges for the Pontiac mom charged with abandoning her kids for years. Kelly Bryant is under court order to have no contact with her children, okay, or their caregiver. But according to the prosecutor's office, records show Bryant called the children's caregiver 10 times between March 8th and March 12th. So that's 4 days, 10 times. It's alleged that she discussed her children and her criminal case. Prosecutors also say Bryant had other inmates call the caregiver on her behalf. Kelly Bryant has clearly and repeatedly violated the judge's order not to contact the victims or their caregivers, said McDonald in a statement. That order is in place for an important reason: to protect the victims. The decision to ask that an inmate's communications be restricted isn't made lightly, but Bryant has repeatedly disobeying court orders, and by doing so, further endangering the victims. If the motion is granted, Bryant would be prohibited from using the phone, tablet, video communication devices in jail. So she is in jail. Just so some of you know, she is in jail. She has not made bond. 7 News Detroit also spoke with Bryant's ex-boyfriend, Taekwon Viney. They were dating in the months leading up to the arrest. He said she had told him the kids were with their dad. He said it's only so much you can say, because it's still, like mind-boggling, because it was somebody, if you were dating, something like that came up, it'd still be like, damn, because you never see no signs, said Viney. Well, you have to see some signs, because she never brought you around the kids. She never took you around the kids. You don't see her posting pictures of herself with the kids on Facebook, IG, or whatever she's on. Don't you find that strange? She's never taking pictures with her children. She don't bring you around the kids. Come on now. Let's stop this. She told me she was done having kids. She had 4 already. She was good. She said she didn't like babies no more. She was over that, he said. Brian added, it's nobody's fault really but hers. Nobody else is to blame here. I don't care what nobody said. I don't care if nobody never asked about kids. That was her fault for leaving them kids in their house. Brian is charged with 3 counts of first-degree child abuse in the Pontiac abandonment case. During her arraignment, the judge warned her that jail phone calls are recorded. Officers conducting a recent welfare check on the home in search of the mother found the children living alone. Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard said the landlord notified them because he hadn't heard from her since December and hadn't received rent since October, and that would be October 2024. First responders said that 4-foot piles of garbage were found in some rooms. Mold and human excrement were found throughout the house. Bouchard said the toilet had stopped working and the bathtub was filled with feces. He called the case very horrific. Law enforcement said that the children had not attended school since their abandonment, which is believed to have been sometime around 2020 to 2021. Passing the time watching television or playing games, it was reported that the girls had not been outside the home for several years, with the boys sleeping on a mattress on the floor while the girls slept on pizza boxes. The prosecutor said the children were hiding when police arrived and were afraid to speak to them. The children were taken to the hospital for evaluation, reportedly with soiled clothes, matted hair, toenails so long that it was difficult to walk. We say a lot, this is the worst I've ever seen, and I've stopped saying that because every time I say that, I see something worse, McDonald said. Bouchard said the children are making great strides since beginning to receive care. They have been forensically interviewed by professionals at Care House of Oakland County. They were also seen once at McLaren Oakland Hospital. Bouchard said they will also receive a much more in-depth physical and mental health checkup in the near future. Neighbors told police they did see a woman drop off stuff at the home from time to time, but they never saw the kids leave the house. Bouchard said that the boy only left the house a few times. He reportedly only did so twice, once to just touch the grass and then go out to get the mail. Bouchard called the revelation the boy just wanted to feel the grass by itself heartbreaking. You wouldn't do this to an animal, let alone your child, Bouchard said. So just to hear that he came outside to touch the grass is just crushing, soul crushing on so many levels. I just find it so strange these kids did not think to just walk out and leave. You understand what I'm saying? Just walk out. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's go ask for help. Let's go knock on a neighbor's door. We have a neighbor, a male neighbor says the kid said something to him maybe 2 times with the window up, complimenting him on his car. We now hear neighbors saying they saw her drop off food. We also hear from that same neighbor that the kids complimented his car. He said he would see the mother sitting in somebody's car outside of the house for hours, just sitting there in a car. So that's weird. Whose car was that? What person was that she was with, just sitting there? And if somebody took her there, wouldn't you be asking, hey, why are we sitting outside? Why don't we go inside your house? Why aren't we going inside? This is just crazy to me. Just crazy to me. Well, she was paying rent on that address, that condo, at some point up until October. So she had money. Don't know if she paid on time, if she paid all the money every month, but she paid rent allegedly. And so months later, no rent, landlord called police for welfare check. He did the right thing because Michigan law is very fishy, as most of you know, with all this squatting stuff going on in different locations. And so you stay backed up in court trying to seize your property where people, stay, hang out, turn on electricity, do all type of crazy stuff. So he knew what to do. He called, get welfare check, and that's how they found the kids. Let's hear from the boyfriend. He has spoken to the news, and he basically says it's nobody's fault but hers. Well, some people are going to say it's still something wrong with these relatives not to be inquiring about the kids. Just like you're sitting here saying, well, I never saw the kids. She said they were with the dad. Well, people are looking at you no different than the relatives. Well, they knew she had kids, like this lawyer here said in this interview here. What about Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving? You all ain't wondering where the children are? You're not saying, hey, you don't take pictures of them. You don't post pictures on the internet. Where are the kids? So people are going to look at you the same way. You're dating this girl and you don't even say, hey, when am I going to see your kids? When am I going to meet your kids? You just dated her, lived with her, or she stayed with you at your mother's house, however it went, and you didn't care either. You just felt like, okay, I'm just going to believe whatever she told me. But you still should have seen something strange that this lady's not posting pictures of her children on social media. She's not bringing her kids to see you. She's not telling you, hey, come on, let's take a ride. I'm going to go visit my kids. Oh, I'm going to pick up my kids. You didn't find that strange? So there are a few of you all that should be questioning, what the hell is going on with this woman and her kids. Now, I get it. You're a guy. You just didn't give a fuck. But her family members, that's a whole different story. She knows she wasn't supposed to contact her father and talk to him about these kids. And I blame the father, who I already said before, anybody that knows her directly should not have access to the children. Because now you're sitting here telling us that, oh, yeah, she talked about the kids with me. Well, how did she talk to you 8 times and you know you weren't supposed to be talking to her? She wasn't out to you. You knew that. You had to have known that. It's all over the news. And yet you talk to her any damn way. So you don't need to have the children either. That's my public opinion. Because like somebody said, more than likely you probably gave the phone to the kids and she probably told them, don't come to testify. Mama gonna go to jail. Mama gonna go to prison. I love y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Blah, blah, blah. So you're not fit to have the children either. And that's my opinion. And I'm wondering about you too, that you didn't question where the children were and you're the father. Come on now. So really, what was the relationship with Kelly and this father? This is strange to me. All right, let's hear from Taekwon Vining, ex-boyfriend. Sorry, got a brief commercial. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Brief intermission. Hope you all are well. Have a wonderful week, everybody. 2-part live, Sean Puffy Combs and Kelly Marie Bryant.
At the time that you guys were together, did you know that she had 3 children who were abandoned?
No, I knew she had kids. I didn't know that they were abandoned.
What did she tell you about them?
They were with the dad.
When the news broke that she had 3 children completely abandoned, like living in their own poop and vomit, what did you think?
At first, like I said, I was in disbelief. So, but after, I'm like, I don't know, like, what the fuck do you find some words to describe that? That's just, I wouldn't do my kids like that, so I wouldn't want to be with nobody like that.
Yeah. Do you have any idea why she would possibly do that to her own children?
If I knew, then I wouldn't. If I knew the answer to that question, then I would have knew that they were by themselves.
All right, well, so all of this comes out and you guys are dating. What did she say to you?
She was sorry. And then it ain't all true. Well, she can't talk about it, so I don't know.
What did you say to her?
Why? Like, why would I mean, like, it's only so much you can say. Like, and it's still, like, mind-boggling. Because it was like somebody that if you were dating, something like that came out, and still be like, damn. Because you never see no signs. And you thinking, like, you see her do all this other stuff, and how she talk about her kids and how well-mannered and stuff they is.
She said that her children are well-mannered?
Wow, that's deep.
They were well-mannered.
Yeah, scared.
Was she close with her dad, her family? Did she ever talk to her dad?
Yeah, she was close to that. I mean, I knew she didn't like want kids no more.
How did you know that?
She told me she was done having kids. She had 4.
Hold on, let me go back a minute.
Close to that. I mean, I knew she didn't like want kids no more.
I'm trying to go back. I want to hear something about the dad. Hold on, you guys.
Was she close with her dad, her family? Did she ever talk to her dad?
Yeah, she was close to that. I mean, I knew she didn't like want kids no more.
How did you know that?
She told me she was done having kids. She had 4 already. She was good. She was good. She said she didn't like babies no more. She was over that. Her kid's old enough. She don't gotta worry about that. This is still fresh, so it's really not gonna hit her until the judge probably sentences her to the prison time that she's gonna get, much every time that may be.
Everyone is just asking, how is it possible that she could do this to her children for so many years and that no one knew anything? What would you want people to know?
I mean, I don't understand how someone would even want any other human being's opinion on how somebody else would handle things in their life. Like, I have no control over that. You have no control over that. The public has no control over what this lady has done. It's nobody's fault, really, but hers. Nobody else is to be blamed here. I don't care what nobody said. I don't care if nobody never asked about them kids. That was her fault for leaving them kids in that house.
Okay, so basically he's saying it's nobody else's fault but hers. Okay, we get that. But the point is, this reporter asked you if she was close to her family. And actually, you don't know no more than what she's telling you. So it's all really the same, I guess. But she said yes. And naturally, the state placed the kids there temporarily. Don't know how long they're going to, remain with this father. Probably might take them out of his care because they might feel like, she might do damage control, might have done damage control in the past week or two of, calling the kids. So I get it. She is the mother. Yes, she's at fault. She left the kids there. She also she's facing fraud charges as well, if you all did not know that, because she got $29,000 total, in state monies for the children. I'm assuming that came from child support from fathers, maybe welfare payments. I'm not really sure. I'm sure it's a combination of 1 or 2. Maybe some of the kids are disabled. Maybe she's disabled. I don't know. But the point is $29,000 was given to her for a couple of years for the children. And now you got to ask, where did that money go? Because in the past several years, couple of years, at least 4 or 5 years, the children have been living on their own with no supervision. So that means she's getting, quite a bit of money. When you divide, for $29,000, she's getting a nice little lump sum of money monthly. Where was the money going? And the fact that she was staying with somebody else, the news went to that person's door. It was a female that answered. She was living with a female. Now, rumor on the street says this was this guy's mother. I don't know what's the truth. I don't want to put, the wrong information out there. But the point is she stayed with someone, and a news reporter did go to the door and talk to the lady and, spoke with her briefly. So she was living with somebody. So maybe she was giving these people that said money to stay with them. And she was making payments up until October 2024 for that said condo. And I believe it's probably a 3-bedroom condo, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, she neglected her children. So whatever she did with the money, stuffed it up her butt, whatever, stuck it in her ears, the kids didn't see it. The brother's sleeping on the floor, sister's sleeping on the floor. They're sleeping on pizza boxes. He's sleeping on some nasty mattress. fecal matter all throughout the house, in the bathtub, the toilet, non-working toilets. Obviously, they didn't have running water. They had electric because they were using devices and playing video games. We also learned that they had their own cell phones, which is weird. You would think the children would at least say, well, I'm going to dial 911. I don't want to live like this anymore. And then these days, children are combative. They're very smart. They're articulate. They know how to dial 911. They know how to call somebody to say, hey, I'm hungry. I'm hurt. I want out. Come get me. But these kids didn't. So she did mind control over these children. It's obvious. She controlled these children. Okay? No different than like Stockholm Syndrome. Only difference, she wasn't there. But when she came through and probably talked to him on the phone, she was manipulating the kids. This lady is facing life in prison, okay? She's facing life in prison for what she has done. First-degree child abuse of 3 children, and rightfully so. And frankly, $50,000 bond, still a slap on the wrist, reduced from $250 million, because we've got crazy people out here who would gladly do a GoFundMe and raise money to get her out of jail. You just got crazy people like that. I mean, you already got that crazy guy that shot that CEO of United Healthcare. People rallying behind him, thinking it's okay to go murder people on a public street. So hell, why not a mother who abandoned her kids and left them in a shit-filled condo? People's mindsets are warped today. Obviously so. Kelly Marie Bryant faces 3 counts of first-degree child abuse of her 3 children. 2 girls and a boy. They are now living with her father. They say they're doing well. But how well? Because we now know that she's made contact with the father, and he's wrong, because in order for you to repeat, oh, she discussed the kids, that means you had an actual conversation, and you should have known not to be talking to her. And then we also hear she and the lawyer are saying, oh, and we didn't receive that paperwork stating she wasn't supposed to talk to her dad. And then you see this Black lady here in this commentary who's a defense attorney saying, well, I don't think it's right for her not to have no contact with outside people. Maybe not talk to the dad, but she needs to be able to talk to somebody on the outside. Well, she can't comply with the rules. So how's it fair that she should still be able to have phone privileges inside of the jail? The judge was specific. I mean, I went to a court hearing, and the judge was specific when she reduced the bond. Do not contact those kids. She knew what she agreed to when she sat on the monitor. She can't say, well, oh, I didn't get the sheet of paper, so I don't know what I was listening to and nodding my head to. She knows. And she defied the judge and did it any damn way. And the father, you had to have known, and I'm assuming that somebody had to have called the father to say, hey, the grandfather, hey, don't accept any calls from her. Do not accept any phone calls from your daughter. Do not allow your children, the grandchildren, to talk to her. Do not allow anyone to call on behalf of her. And she should know that calls are recorded in jail. So anybody that she's talking to and anybody using their card to call the daddy, granddaddy, whomever, all that's now on record. And yes, they have iPads in jail. If you did not know that, you have to put money on that, just like you use the card for the phone services. It's the same for the iPad. You use it, put money on a card to use the iPad. Probably had people, messaging them on Messenger, all type of crazy nonsense. Now I'm wondering who's helping her while she's incarcerated. Anybody putting money on the books for her to talk? Commissary? If so, why? She don't need a dime. She didn't help her fucking kids, so you shouldn't be helping her. But as I just told you, there's always going to be a weak link in the chain, and that will be some crazy person thinking, well, I'll just help her out. I'll give her a little bit of money, blah, blah, blah. She don't deserve shit. Hello, goodbye. Prayers for the children. That's who need the prayers. Now, once again, this boyfriend feels like there's nobody else to blame but her. She's the mother. Don't matter if nobody ever asked about the kids. She's to blame. Well, that's easier said than done. Because we've learned also in this world that people aid people in foolishness and mayhem and aid them in abuse, neglect. We see it all the time. So somebody should have been concerned about the kids. I don't care what this boyfriend is saying. We know it was her responsibility to take care of the children. But the point is, if she's cool with somebody, close to somebody, and then poof, voila, all of a sudden, don't nobody hear from her kids anymore, see her kids. There is some responsibility if you care about the kids to say, okay, something ain't right. Let me call DHS, the police, and say, hey, this girl's out here, over there. She's on the internet twerking, shaking her ass, taking all these provocative pictures, but we don't never see her children. The children could have been saved by now had somebody called to inquire. So I disagree with you, Mr. Ex-boyfriend. It was somebody else's responsibility. Because you can't now say you care about kids and then take them in, but you never wonder where the fuck they were. So it don't matter if she told them they were with the dad. You still would be saying, okay, well, I'll never see you take no pictures with your children. What's going on? Where are these kids? Why aren't you visiting the kids? Why aren't you bringing the kids around? Come on. All right? Just keeping it real. That's my commentary, everybody. 2-part live. Sean Puffy Combs. Lawyers say the CNN video of him beating up Cassie Ventura has been altered. CNN has denied the claim. They said we have played it in its entirety. The gist of it has been played. That's the latest. And also, Mr. Deal, who worked for him as a bodyguard, says that he was messing around with a Mr. Burris, who worked at Bad Boy. And Mr. Burris also filed a suit against Sean in February of 2025, claiming coercion, abuse, so on and so forth, forced acts, sexual acts. So maybe there's some truth to him and Sean messing around. Either way, it's a hot butter mess, and I'm tired of hearing all these allegations. It's not to say that they're not true. It's just daunting at this point. Trial is going to start in May 12th, and I'm looking forward to getting this trial over with so we can talk about somebody else, because this SHIT is getting on my nerve. And prayers to all victims of domestic violence, sexual abuse, because a lot of people don't tell the world that they've been violated by a person or persons. It is personal. And just because a person don't talk about it, don't mean it didn't happen. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand about sexual abuse, rape. Just because somebody didn't tell somebody, didn't file a police report, it doesn't mean it didn't take place. And I'm seeing a lot of this type of behavior with famous people. People come forward 10 years, 15, 30 years, and people make them out to be liars because they didn't file a police report. Well, look why they didn't do it. Look at how you're acting and talking bad about them. They're lying. They want money. Well, that's the attitude you would have if they came out and went to the police same night. You'd be saying the same thing if that's how you feel. Oh, they're lying. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. He's not that type of guy. You can't speak about people you don't know. And frankly, you can't speak about people who you think you know, because you don't really know people. People are sadists, okay? And that's just the bottom line. You hear of horrible crimes committed by citizens every day. Children commit crimes, teenagers commit crimes, adults, elderly people, all type of people commit crimes. So you can't even speak on what a person would and would not do. Because every day you are shocked and amazed at the allegations made by people against other people. Some are true, some are not, but like they always say, it's what you can prove. And a lot of these allegations have been proven in court, a court of law. And the people have gotten time. Some got a small amount of time. Some might have gotten probation. But the point is, don't make a person out to be a liar because you like the person. You like the alleged perpetrator. You like their music. You like them in the sports arena, whichsoever. You don't know them. Kelly Bryant, currently locked up, Michigan jail. State's attorney is filing paperwork for her not to have any contact with the father and the children. I also think the state needs to remove the children out of her care. That's what I think. Because I don't think it's a good idea for them to keep the kids. Now that we know that she's contacted them at least, 18 times? So no, They don't need to. The father don't need to have. The grandfather don't need to have custody of the kids. The kids need to be moved ASAP. And as far as Sean Puffy Combs, oh my goodness, the band played on. I'm sure before May gets here, there'll be another allegation, lawsuit. And I don't think CNN altered anything with the video, because in the end, it doesn't even matter. Like I said, they sped it up for content because we don't really know how long it was. It probably is not even that long. But the point is, you saw how he hit the girl, dragged the girl by her coat, threw a vase or something that was in the hallway. There's no excuse for that behavior. None. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. Check out my extensive library of 3,000 plus videos. Take the polls on my community page. And also check out my shorts. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Ganji 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you all so much for following this network. Everybody have a wonderful week. I did have another video planned for today pertaining to a TV show where they show weird, wacky behavior of citizens. And it was two black women who were twins dating the same guy and living together, sleeping in the same damn bed. But I got thrown off with this update of new information. So I will probably try to bring you that tomorrow. Thank you all so much for your time. Please have a wonderful week. And also we'll put up a movie suggestion for the week as well. You all be safe out there. You have been listening to the VIOLATES. Thank you.